welcome back. Season 4, episode 9 of your Leaders Only digital show and podcast, brought to you here by What It Changed, Mentoring Inc. and Tone Drone TV. I'm your host today, Kendall.
And I'm Samaj.
And today we have a magnificent show. We have a special guest today. We announced Miss Pinkie in a second, but we ask always that you please invite your friends, have a watch party. We ask that you subscribe to our channel. Click the bell, share, comment. If you miss us at any time on our live streaming, you can always hit pound replay and catch us in the comments like that, and watch any show from the past seasons all the way up to the current episode.
Yeah, and you can always email us at leadersonly22@gmail.com if you have any questions, any topics, any events for us to attend. We will get back to you within about 24 hours, so reach out at any given moment. And right now, we want you to help us welcome Aunt Pinkie, who's a Maryland resident agent, a content creation space owner, and community advocate. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Miss.
How are you?
Thank you, Aunt Pinkie.
How you doing today?
I'm great.
That's good. Now, we originally met you at the PG County Men's Shelter event, where you invited us over, and the guys were having like a pop-up and a car wash.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get started with the shelter, with that program, and what gave you guys the gumption to actually have a pop-up?
So I started going there after the pandemic. I initially started going there back in like 2011 when I was still in the military, but then pandemic happened. It was closed down, but after the pandemic, we started to go back in there, and I just sat down with them, I think last Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much asked them, what is it that you guys need? And so I was like, this is what I can provide. What do you guys need? They was like, oh yeah, you can come back. I said, okay, I'll come back. And so, of course, I got the same attitude that, yeah, she just talking.
Right.
And so I showed up like 2 days later and pretty much started working with them from there. And that started on a Wednesday. And so I've been there every Wednesday ever since, with the exception of maybe 2. And that was just for learning workshops that I had to go to, or if they had a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The community day kind of started because I saw that a couple of the guys had issues with going to job fairs. They felt like the job fairs were overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guys have like their own type of talent and everything. So it was like, well, why don't we just bring the people to them?
Right,
Bring the employees to them, show, just do a spin on the job fair and do like a talent fair in a sense. And so we just called it a community day because we wanted to actually welcome the neighborhood into seeing what these guys could actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had one guy that was a DJ. We had one guy that washed cars. He had his own car washing business. We had a few guys that are like graphic designers, and they sell T-shirts and different inventory and things of that nature. And so that's pretty much where the community day came from, and where I actually met you all at.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in wanting to be or working at a men's shelter? You don't hear that often. Do you actually work for the shelter, or are you contracted? Is it through a different program where y'all partner?
No, I volunteer there.
Okay.
So I have on my own organization, Mikhail University, and so we teach business literacy, job readiness skills, life skills, and we promote trade skills. But for me personally, I just went there to volunteer. I found my sister's father was there during the pandemic, and I actually had him come move with me because I had the space. And just going during that time when I actually asked the guys, what is it that you need? I started to see what he was experiencing when he was there. And so once I was there, I think my passion with the guys is that, like, a lot of times organizations kind of focus on women and children, and they kind of leave our men out. We can't create a balance in our community or unify if we leave the men out of the equation.
Right.
And so for me, that's why I kind of have like this main focus on the men at the center. Now we're trying to call it a transitional transformation center instead of calling it a shelter.
Right.
And instead of calling them homeless, we want to call them unhoused. That way, because words have power, right? So we want to make sure that the guys are seen, they're heard, they're loved, and they just need that opportunity from just anybody to just say, hey, I see you. What is it that you have that you can offer? Instead of just everybody talking down to them and treating them as if they're, third class citizens.
Right.
Yeah. So also do you feel like you reaching out to them and making it easier because it hit home and because of your military background as well?
I don't think the military background had anything to do with it, but just the lack of resources that's put out there. I never really did any volunteer work with the women's or the kids shelters or anything, but I think for me, I'm just kind of, I see it's a need right here. Nobody's, I mean, we have organizations that come in, right? You have the people who come in and they want that edification. They want to get the photo ops, but they really not doing any work, right? So for me, I'm just like, no, I actually want to have conversations with them, like sit one-on-one with the guys. I can go in and I could probably name everybody in the room, without, unless they're a brand new person and I never met them, I can tell you something about that person because I've actually had a conversation with them.
And it's easier because it hit home.
For sure.
How long are they usually there? What's the turnaround?
So they initially start off with 60 days. I want to say that starts off with 60 days. That's the emergency side, and then they also have a transitional side where they can stay longer.
Okay. All right. And what's the difference? Like, how do you become a part of the transitional side?
So from what I remember, you have to produce 3 pay stubs in order to move over to the transitional side. You have to produce 3 pay stubs. But the obstacles that they actually run into is that if they come in and they don't have a birth certificate or a social security card or a driver's license or something like that, you're already talking maybe 2 or 3 weeks in a hole, right? Because you have to have an application to be put into that office and then have to wait for that to get processed, right? So now the person is put in a hole. And what that does to your mental.
It kind of breaks it down.
For sure. Yeah.
It's definitely discouraging.
It's very discouraging. And then you have the guys who are returning citizens.
That's what I was about to say.
And when they're not bringing in any income and you only have 60 days to kind of get yourself together, they have to find the fastest way to make some money.
It's a quick temptation. It's a quick temptation.
So it's easy to backslide into what it was that you was actually doing before because it's quicker. I need the money.
Yeah.
What how do we go about like being able to bridge that gap, because isn't the shelter or the transitional house isn't it funded by the government?
I can't tell you who runs what, because when you ask one person, the next person say, oh no, we do this, we do this. So it's a lot of finger pointing. So
throw it off on somebody else until it's good.
So we handle this, we don't handle this, but they handle this, and it's always a finger pointing game. When you want to know who gets the raccoons out the building, right?
That's a fact.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that there should be some type of communication amongst government agencies to expedite these type of things for people who are I mean, it's basically like being on Section 8 in a sense. They know every single person who's on Section 8. They know. They got to regulate it. They got to come inspect it. They know how much money they get. They know everything. Even if you have a visitor, they know it. So to be able to be in tune with these men and in other situations, women and families, there should be some type of program or some person that you should be able to call at the vital records, at the Social Security office, so these brothers and sisters don't have to wait that long. How do you go about initiating a program or some type of connection for those type of things? Cause I'd be so confused. Like, I know we came over there and then we cooked the time that I tried to send the pizzas, and that was a headache. But that's just feeding people. You know what I'm saying? Like, people need an avenue to be able to sustain in life.
Yeah.
And when we just sitting here having a conversation about people returning to society, but you need proper paperwork just to even get an income. How do we like get that heard? Is it through the council members? Is it through the mayor? Like, how do we try to encourage them from relapsing because of parameters that are put in there that are kind of out of their control, but they are in the government's control or they are in those people's control?
From what I see, I feel like and it's just my personal opinion, finding out who handles what, who all are the stakeholders involved with the shelter itself, and then finding out who runs it, and then start, putting their feet to the fire.
Right.
So, like, that's where I see it. There's no oversight. And then whenever there is someone that comes in, it's kind of like, who's the person that's coming in? Are they just coming to check the block, or are they really, like, holding some standards? Right? So I had one guy who, his food stamps were cut. He had a job at one of the fast food restaurants. His food stamps were cut. And he was like, Miss Carlita, or, he doesn't call me like Pinkie. He calls me Miss Carlita. They cut my food stamps down to $23.
Right.
And I'm like, but you are a resident here. How?
Right.
And from there, that next week, he was behind bars. So that's disheartening to me, because I'm just like, you guys failed him. And it wasn't just so much that, because his hours are actually getting cut at his actual job.
Right.
So they cut his food stamps.
To go up.
You get?
Yeah.
But then if you're a resident at the transitional house, why would your food stamps get cut in
it's
the
supposed to
first
be a
place?
set number anyway.
I don't even think your food stamps should get cut until after maybe 6 months, until after you transition out.
Yeah.
That way you can actually sustain some type of living and be okay,
Because how you expect somebody to get used to something so in within 90 days, you give them, you got these food stamps. You barely already getting
or more
that many.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you giving them $100 to $200 every month. And it's only for 3 months. It's like, dang, won't you give them a lump sum then of $500 in 3 months?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? $1,500 to start you out versus
but then they're
$500
gonna wind up selling them and stuff.
Yeah, that's the trick though. That's the thing about it too, that everybody don't play by the righteousness of it too. Like, okay, we're gonna give you these, but are you really using them for food stamps?
For sure.
Or are you using it to treat something that you're not supposed to treat?
Yeah.
So
Getting
that's
cash
the game
value
too.
of the
So
stamps.
it's like, dang, it's like, man, it's like a catch-22. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that they should. I don't know. I just think that they should regulate it more. They can allot places to shop. There's things that they could do, especially. Majority of these brothers, it seem like that they would be getting a minimum wage or a retail type of job anyway. And just through my experience of just working part-time at DC Dosa, I know that that's not enough money to pay rent at somewhere, halfway decent. Rent, the average rent, like for one bedroom, like right now is like $2,000 a month. So
But imagine getting a Social Security check, and that's about $900. But then a rooming house, which is just a room, is about $800.
It's at least $5.
Yeah, and I'm talking $8.
$5. Yeah. In DC,
I've
it's
actually
$8.
spoke to some guys who they only receive about $918. It may have gone up, because the fiscal year changed.
Right.
But their rent is like $800.
And then with that, can you work? Are you allowed to work? No, I'm asking.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Unless they have a cap.
To work if they have the if they get that $900, are they still allowed to work?
I'm not sure. And if they're getting Social
They
Security,
could work.
it might be
I
a
think
cap.
it's a cap on the hours though.
It's a cap.
Because I experienced people that work for FedEx on Social Security, but it's a cap on the hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cap on how much they can actually get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Social
Can they
Security.
go to the military?
Who?
The brother.
The men in there?
Yeah.
If they meet the requirements, they can.
Okay.
Do they want to?
No, I know they don't want to, but see that's another thing too. You know what I'm saying? In the world that we've come in, a lot of times we doing what we want to do, instead of doing what we need to do. Or we'll turn down help that'll help us get where we need to be,
right?
Opposed to the way it looks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of times the way it looks, it has to keep you comfort in your comfort zone of going nowhere.
Yeah.
You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I get both sides. Like, it's like a double-edged sword.
For sure.
Especially nowadays, living in the time that we live in, where, people dress up as bums nowadays to go panhandle, and they made that a 6-figure business for the year. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. I just feel like if it's there, this is the reason why our show exists for people in the community. Prince George County, especially, like, that's a part of your community, That's why the town hall meetings are important. That's why knowing, like you said, who own what, bringing the board members out. But it takes the community to do that and figure out who these people are so you can actually help. I believe waiting on government funding or the way that people attack a budget is through you having some type of game plan, but then the way that you keep these businesses or these avenues of transition available is through the community support and funding and donations. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff that we could do. You know, there's always, you know, tens of thousands of people that live in each city. Just imagine if everybody had a $10, like, I'm giving back $10, just, we gotta come up with something. I don't trust in giving it to the shelter or giving it to the government, but that's why we have to have our community leaders and our community groups. So stuff like that can have, like, man, all these households giving just $10, you know, a week or $10 a month. Now we have a budget. Okay, what do our schools? Okay, this program is closing down. We about to keep it open. They about to take the art program out. We just rented a building. It's a house right here. We got an art house. You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff like that where I know that they're wrong, and I know we could put the pressure on them, but the pressure is always better when you have that backing from, you know, the community to where say, we're going to get it done regardless.
Yeah.
We're just trying to let you know what you should start doing. And it's 2023, man. Like, a lot of these processes been going on for the 90s, you know, 80s. Like, it's been the same worksheet, or they add one line to the application. Like, it's been this way since these are elders who don't want to retire, you know, and in some cases they can't because they didn't do the proper things, but then they won't give up the jobs, you know, so there's no real turnover in these government facilities either. That's a big issue. You know, they done played to know the system so well that 4:15 on Friday, we gonna do this to the phone. We ain't answering when they supposed to be working till 5, and somebody might only have off on Friday, and they've been through 3 calls that had them on the phone for 2 hours apiece. Like, there's like, you know what I mean? And people who go to work gotta realize that y'all are part of the everyday citizen. Like, you're gonna clock out. You know what I mean? You may be a person who need the shelters facility at one point in time. But we have to get into that mindset that, we're working for this company, but we're working for this company to make it better for our people because we don't own. I mean, it ain't no secret, bro. We don't own nothing. Okay? You know, I'm tired of putting a Band-Aid on it and stuff. Like, I don't want to preach to y'all no more. I'm done with that. But, like, when we have these type of conversations, the truth just has to be spoken, man. I don't want to be rude, and I don't care about arguing and stuff. But somebody got to say it. Like, people going off on rants on Charleston White and stuff, but he hitting the nail on the head. You know what I'm saying? I don't like none of the antics. You know, I don't like when people drink no more. I just don't. You know, but I respect it. You know, if that's what you're going to do, you got to live in that body. Right. But we got to start hearing the messages and then doing something about it. You know what I mean? So,
it's
not to be long with we ain't doing nothing about it. It's
the messenger that kind of like diminishes.
We can't tell 40 or 50-year-old rappers stop rapping about making kilos of money off of kilos. That's not happening.
For sure.
You could flip that word and say I'm making money off of selling shirts. I mean, what are you really doing? Look, I just did a deal where, you know, first time ever we had 25 restaurants, 25 of this, 25 of that. Then took a stance on my integrity. Like, that matters too. Like, we're not even in the point where bars, people not buying into your music. They're buying into your lifestyle. That's why the social media and all that crap matters. So if somebody is on the type of time you on being arrogant or ignorant or boastful or petty, that's your thing. That's where you're going to gravitate to. If somebody's into gardening, that's the beautiful thing about today. But then at the same time, we have too many people on the low frequency that can subscribe to stuff that's just harming us. And then when you speak up, it's no way you're going to be able to have a realistic, rational conversation with somebody who's on edge. Right? Yeah. You know, these are the same people that will blow your head off. Yeah. And then think about it later. You know what I'm saying? Think about it when they in a cell. Think about it when they see their mom or you tell them, like, they can't go out. No, you can't do that no more. Yeah. Now it's, man, you know, so it's like, too late. We have to take preventative measures because it's like, bro, like you just said, you've been there. You are there. And you don't even know the chain of command. So I can only imagine, you know, where we at. To move forward, because we still have questions. It's just like, these are serious topics. And when you're dealing with, especially the man, like when I think about you working at a shelter, What'd you say again? I don't want to keep saying the shelter. What's the name
Oh
again?
no, it's the Prince
the
George's
No,
house.
you said it was. What you said? What
A
y'all calling that?
transition?
Transitional home.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in that regard, the man is the head of the community.
Mm-hmm.
This like, people don't realize like the level that they place the so-called black man under. Like, there's a doormat. We are under the doormat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They've weaponized even giving opportunities to our women to put that against us. So now there's a divide in the competition even with that. Like,
Yes.
I could do what you do. You weren't designed to do what I do. So there's no way you could do what I do, and I can't do what you do. But because of monetary value has placed you in a place where you could pay your bills, and now they're taking the opportunity away from me, I can't pay my bills.
Yeah.
So now you're good, I'm bad, and there's no we anymore. You know what I mean? Even if you make, like, the monetary value has gone so far that if you make $1 million at a job, that means you got the balls. That means I'm in the household, and if I only make $70,000, I'm a bad man. You know what I'm saying? So we have to do something, man.
As a
to get-
community,
yeah,
we have
to
to
get our guys back
understand
up.
the agenda that's been placed
Yeah.
against us, and seeing how it all. It didn't just start yesterday, right? It didn't start 10 years ago. Because even when I was in school, I felt like it started before then. But I think I was just a youth, and I could see what was happening when the crime bill was passed.
Right.
When, they start cutting the budget for the after-school programs. So we have to think about those things.
Right.
You had the crack babies, right? We have the
yeah.
remnants
Yeah.
of those babies that are actually, like, having babies.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So
That's where we at now.
you understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, how do we keep them further in this controlled environment, and how are they going to act
Right.
in this controlled environment, right?
Mhm.
It's not so much the crabs in the barrel. It's kind of like, no, why would you want to get out?
Right.
I'm just going to keep giving you a little bit and a little bit, and make you feel like if you make a little bit more, we're going to cut you off.
Right.
And then you're going to be struggling.
Look, before we go any further, man, this is a great conversation, so hold your thought. Before it's too late, man, we never want to hesitate. We always want to encourage you, man, to do your best, get out there, do something positive, get your physical well-being right, get your mentality right, get your emotional state right, eat right, sleep right, try to meditate and do some activities to keep you sane, man. And if you notice anybody that's doing bad, and you notice any triggers, any things out of the unordinary, we got our own emergency line that you can hit at 988.
Yes. And if you're into voting, we want to continue to remind you to remain active in voting, especially, like, say, locally. That's where you could actually make a difference.
That's where it counts.
Check out vote.org. Everything you need to vote is in preparation for the upcoming elections. I'm not even sure when they are. I don't. But please stick together, man. Sticking together would be so much more beautiful than voting.
Yes, sir. So, moving forward, before we get out of here, we want to acknowledge you, and also we want to know what this AVM care package is.
Oh, you guys saw the.
And congratulations on winning,
thank you.
winning it in October. So we want to know what that is.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the AVM is an arterial venomous malformation, and so my youngest daughter, who you guys typically see with me, she's 23 now, but she suffered a stroke when she was 18.
Right.
And so the AVM is actually what caused her stroke, and so with that, it's very rare. And so you don't know about it unless it ruptures or you got like a brain scan or something like that. And so I'm her caregiver, right? And so the guy who awarded the package to me, AVM Superhero, he's someone that I've connected to, because for me as a caregiver, I'm just like, I didn't prepare as a mom to become a caregiver. You prepare your kids to go off to do their great things, and you prepare for empty nest syndrome. And so for me, it's kind of like, oh no, you gotta you gotta take care of this.
Right.
So you're a caregiver, you
Right.
know, and so that's where I'm at. So after connecting with him, because it's not that the community is small of people who have AVMs or people who are caregivers or everything, but to actually speak to someone who actually suffered a stroke due to the AVM, it was heartfelt for me. And so that is something that in his organization, he awards caregivers or stroke survivors packages and things like that. And so he reached out and was just like, hey, you won, you know, and I was
That's
just
super
like,
dope.
me? Like, what?
Right.
And so to actually get like a package with some tea and you know, like some mugs and things
Right.
like that people was thinking about me.
That was
It was
dope.
just like, it was so heartfelt. Because a lot of times I feel like, you know, don't nobody see
Right,
what I'm
right,
doing.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I keep a lot of stuff to myself, but it really touched my heart because, you know, I just do it naturally because I think this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
But people don't see how I become overwhelmed by everything, you know, because I'm like, yo, I'm supposed to be traveling the world right now,
Right.
doing my thing, but I actually have to, you know, adjust everything that I do because I have to make sure that my daughter is cared for.
Right.
That's still with me.
Yeah,
That's dope.
I
That's
definitely.
Yeah, but that's what it
Definitely
is, the
feel that.
ABM.
Yes, sir.
And
We
what
commend
is
you on that.
what's Wellness Wednesday?
Wellness Wednesday is what we kind of like call Wednesday at the Transition Center, because not only do we do like resume writing and do the job readiness training, we do we have people who come and talk to the men, even if it's just about mental health. Like this week we talked about SAD, the seasonal attensive disorder,
Right.
and making sure the guys are taking care of their brothers and things like that, just making sure you're looking out. A lot of times when time changed, we get less daylight hours or the holiday season come around, a lot of people go into their shell, especially if they lost a loved one.
Seasonal depression.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. And so we talked about that. We talked about cleanliness and things like that and just the basics and not people knowing what the basics are sometimes, you know, when it comes to keeping places clean, cleaning
Right.
your body and keeping your space clean and things like that. It's based off of how you were raised, you know. You had that type of conversation, but that was just with me. But then we
Right.
also have people who come in, like my friend Zach, the great Zach Tate, who does his Who Are You workshop. And then Mr. Alexander Campbell and Mr. Lewis, they come in and they do their workshop, and everything kind of happens on Wednesdays.
Okay.
I had Bo Yoga come in and she did some yoga with the guys. That was like such a dope, fun experience. One guy left and was like, oh, I feel like a feather, you know. But we had the Stubbs show, so Shadonna Stubbs came over and she did a workshop on perspective, you know, one of the Wednesdays. So it's just one of those days that, like, because I've been going on Wednesdays, I kind of get the most active members to come by and participate. And so we kind of just dubbed it Wellness Wednesday. Anything that we could do to help them. They had HIV testing, hepatitis A and B testing, anything, you name it.
So like
we
a
do
networking
it.
day.
Yeah, resources.
Yeah.
And so we
That's
have
dope.
something coming up
That's
on
dope.
the 20th where we have Employee PG coming over with the mobile unit.
Okay.
We also have someone from Generation DMV. They're coming over to kind of observe what we're doing, because I saw that they have like men focus groups and I wanted them to kind of tap into talking with the men. And then we also have this other organization who donates clothes to you guys, Jay. He connected me to someone that has like a thrift store that's in
Okay.
Brandywine. They're
Okay,
going to
yeah.
come over and they're going to donate some clothes to the guys. And
Shout out
so-
Jay Flo,
Yeah, Jay.
my boy.
Yeah, so, you know, that's what we doing, you know.
And where's
that's
where's the location?
603 Addison Road South. South,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Very specific.
Yes.
603 Addison Road
And they put
South,
the S
Capitol Heights.
after.
Yeah.
Capitol Heights, Maryland, 20743 is the address.
How can people get in contact with you?
With me? Phone number, email address, whichever.
What's the most comfortable way?
IG. So IG, I am at Aunt Pinkie, Pinkie. On Instagram, I am, what else? My phone number is 1-800-991-7929. And my email address is Carlita, CARLITA at THEMIKIO.com.
And where's the content facility?
Oh, the content creation space is at 4812 St. Barnabas Road, actually down the street from here, in Temple Hills, Maryland.
And last but not least, do you have any affirmation you can leave with us today?
If I can have what?
Any affirmations?
Affirmations?
Let's go. I know you got it.
Ooh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know. An affirmation? I don't know.
What you tell your guys?
I see you. I hear you. I love you.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we practice
That's a
and
good
we
one.
preach. So
Yeah. I have them get up and I have them say that to themselves. Yeah,
dope.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely try to incorporate affirmations. If you don't know what that is, it's just like speaking to the universe and to yourself about things that you want to manifest.
Yeah. So mine's
You gotta believe it. You
so
gotta
mine's
think in it.
is
You gotta believe it.
every day I wake up and say I'm great, I'm
Mhm.
different, and I change. 'Cause I
Okay.
have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
say
like
that
that.
every day.
I like that.
But then closing, man, we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
You hope you were comfortable.
No, I'm good.
Knock the jitters out.
No, it's the sun.
Appreciate y'all.
Our friend the sun.
This is your Leaders Only show, digital and podcast. Live streaming every Sunday at 2:30 at the Garden in Temple Hills. We appreciate y'all joining us on our season 4, episode 9. We hope that you enjoy Aunt Pinkie. We hope you enjoyed Samaj. I know y'all enjoyed me. We are brought to you here by What It Changed Mentoring Inc. and Tone Drone TV. I'm always going to say my name is Kendall and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Samaj.
We ask that you subscribe, like, comment, share. Email us at leadersonly22@gmail.com. If you miss us, man, we always ask that you catch from season 1 up to 4, episode 9, anytime. If you miss us on the comments on our live streaming, you can always pound, replay in the comment section. Any topics, anything that you want to bring forth, bring it. 988, don't hesitate or late. Or you'll be too late, man. If you seeing anything, like I said, triggers, if you recognize your person down, that's not himself or not herself, man, just reach out, 988. It's been a great day. We appreciate you again.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Peace.
Awesome.